The detention facility on Station Gamma 7 housed the worst of the worst. Pirates, war criminals, genetic abominations creatures that threatened the fragile peace of the Galactic Coalition. But in Cell Block X, behind walls of reinforced titanium, and energy shields that could withstand a nuclear blast, lived something else entirely. They called her the Devourer. Marcus Webb had heard the stories during his first week as a maintenance technician. The alien prisoner in the deepest cell stood 9 feet tall, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed like dying stars. She had killed 17 guards in the first month of her imprisonment. 12 more had died trying to sedate her. Eventually, the station commander issued a simple order: no one goes near her. Food would be delivered by automated drone. Water pumped through sealed pipes. Human contact was forbidden. Anyone who entered her cell would not come out alive. Marcus had no intention of breaking that rule. He had a wife back on Earth, a daughter starting college, and absolutely no desire to become victim number 30. He kept his head down, fixed the broken systems, and collected his paycheck. But the station had old bones. Systems failed. Pipes burst. And when the automated feeding mechanism in Cell Block X malfunctioned on a Tuesday morning, it became his problem. "Just override it remotely," Marcus said into his communicator, staring at the error message on his diagnostic pad. "Tried that," his supervisor replied. "Systems completely fried. Needs manual reset. You'll have to go down there." Marcus felt his stomach drop. Down to Block X? The mechanism's outside the cell. You won't even see her. Just reset the panel and get out. The walk to Cell Block X felt like a descent into a tomb. Each security door sealed behind him with a hiss that sounded too much like a coffin closing. The air grew colder. His footsteps echoed in the empty corridor. When he reached the feeding mechanism, he found it worse than expected. The entire panel had shorted out, probably from a power surge. He would need to replace 3 circuit boards and rewire the delivery system. An hour's work, minimal. He knelt and opened his toolkit, trying not to look at the massive door 20 feet away. Behind that door, the Devourer waited in silence. Marcus worked quickly, his hands steady despite the fear crawling up his spine. He was halfway through the 2nd circuit board when he heard it. A voice, not a roar or a growl, but words. Spoken in perfect Coalition standard. "You are afraid." Marcus froze. The voice came from the cell's external speaker, activated somehow despite the lockdown protocols. "The others were also afraid," the voice continued. It was feminine, deep, and carried a strange resonance. "But you came anyway." Marcus swallowed hard and kept working. "Don't engage. Don't respond. Just finish and leave." "I have not eaten in 3 days," she said. The machine stopped working. His hands paused on the circuit board. 3 days? The protocols required feeding every 18 hours. Someone should have noticed. "I will die in 7 more days without food," she continued. "Perhaps that is their intention." Marcus glanced at the cell door. Through the small observation window, he could see darkness. Nothing more. "They say you are dangerous," he said quietly, surprising himself. "Yes." No hesitation, no denial. "They say you killed 29 people." 31. A pause. But who is counting? Marcus should have left. Should have called his supervisor and let someone else handle it. Instead, he asked, "Why?" "Because they took me from my world. Because they imprisoned me for the crime of being stronger than them. Because when I fought back, they called me a monster." "Are you?" Silence stretched between them. Then, softly, "Ask me again after you have been caged for 5 years." Marcus finished the wiring and closed the panel. The system hummed to life, lights blinking green. He could leave now. Job done, but his feet wouldn't move. "The food will come tomorrow morning," she said. "I will survive. Thank you for repairing the machine." Marcus stood, picked up his toolkit, and walked to the cell door. His hand moved to the manual release before his brain caught up. Every alarm in his head screamed at him to stop. He opened the door anyway. The cell was sparse. A concrete floor. A metal bed frame. And there, standing against the far wall, was the Devourer. She was exactly as they described. Tall, powerful, with features that were almost human, but not quite. Her skin absorbed the light rather than reflecting it. Her eyes glowed with a soft amber luminescence. She wore prison grays that looked absurdly small in her frame. She stared at him. He stared back. "You opened the door," she said. "Yeah." Marcus reached into his lunch pack and pulled out his sandwich. "Figured you were hungry now. Not tomorrow." He set it on the ground and backed toward the door. Her eyes tracked his movement, but she made no move to attack. "They will punish you for this," she said. "Probably. Why do it then?" Marcus paused in the doorway. "Because 3 days is a long time to be hungry. And because nobody deserves to be forgotten." He left before she could respond, sealing the door behind him. His hands shook the entire walk back to the maintenance office. The next day, Marcus was called into the commander's office. Someone had reviewed the security footage. He prepared himself for termination, possibly arrest. Instead, the commander looked tired. "The prisoner has refused food from the automated system," he said. "She will only accept meals delivered by hand. Your hand, specifically. She's threatened to starve herself otherwise." Marcus felt ice form in his veins. "That's not my fault. I know. But we can't let her die. She's technically classified as a political prisoner. There are treaties involved. Complications." The commander rubbed his face. "You'll deliver her meals personally, twice a day." "That's an order." So began the strangest assignment of Marcus's life. Twice a day, he entered Cell Block X carrying a meal tray. Twice a day, the Devourer waited by the far wall, making no threatening moves. They didn't speak at first. He would set down the food. She would nod, and he would leave. But eventually, silence gave way to conversation. Her name was Kiva. She came from a world where her people lived in the deep mountains, where the air was thin and the gravity was harsh. The Coalition had wanted mining rights to her planet's core. When her people refused, the Coalition labeled them terrorists. Kiva had led the defense of her village. For that, they called her a war criminal. "The guards I killed," she said one evening, "they came to take me for experimentation. They wanted to study why my people are so strong. They planned to dissect me alive." Marcus set down her dinner tray. "So you fought back." "I survived. They call it murder. I call it breathing." Weeks turned into months. Marcus learned that Kiva was an artist before the war, that she had a brother who died in the fighting, that she loved music, though her captors had never allowed her any. He started bringing her things. A small radio that only picked up classical stations, books from the station library, a blanket. When he noticed her shivering in the climate-controlled cold, "Why do you do this?" she asked one day. "I am nothing to you." "You're not nothing," Marcus replied. "You're a person." "A prisoner, yeah, but still a person. I could kill you at any moment." "I know, but you keep coming back." "Yeah." She studied him with those luminous eyes. "Your people are strange. Fragile and weak, yet capable of such unexpected courage. Or stupidity. I have not decided which." Marcus laughed. "Probably both." On month 4, Kiva refused to eat. "The Coalition is transferring me," she explained when Marcus arrived with breakfast, "to a black site facility. They say I am too dangerous to keep here. They will take me tomorrow." Marcus felt his blood run cold. Black sites were where prisoners disappeared. No trials. No records, just silence. "There must be something we can do," he said. "Appeals, lawyers. I am not a coalition citizen. I have no rights. She moved closer to the door than she ever had before. But I wanted to thank you before I go. You showed me that not all humans are monsters. That is worth knowing before the end. Marcus went straight to the commander, then to the coalition representative, then to anyone who would listen. He filed reports, made calls, sent messages to news networks and human rights organizations. He used every minute of his off-shift time trying to stop the transfer. Nothing worked. The transport arrived at dawn. Marcus stood in the corridor outside Cell Block X as coalition soldiers in heavy armor assembled. They carried shock weapons and neural disruptors, enough firepower to drop a tank. The commander appeared beside him. You need to leave, Webb. This is going to get ugly. I'm seeing this through. When they opened the cell, Kiva stood ready. She had torn her bed frame apart and held a metal bar like a weapon. Her eyes blazed with defiance. Come then, she said. Let us finish this. Marcus stepped forward before anyone could stop him. He walked past the soldiers, past their weapons, directly into the cell. Don't, he said simply. Kiva stared at him. They will take me anyway. Maybe, but you don't have to go out fighting. You don't have to prove them right about you. I am what they made me. No, Marcus moved closer. You're what you choose to be, and I've seen you choose kindness. I've seen you choose conversation over violence. You're more than their fear. The metal bar trembled in her hands. Then slowly she let it fall. It hit the concrete floor with a clang that echoed through the block. For you, she said quietly. Only for you. They took her away in chains. Marcus, though,